My name's Jim Saxton. I'm chairman of the Healthcare Litigation Group at Stevens & Lee. I'm also on the executive committee of the Surgical Review Corporation. I'm counsel for Novus RRG, and I'm a member of the Surgical Excellence Board of Directors. I also have spent the last 28 years essentially defending physicians and hospitals either in the courtroom or working with them to reduce their liability exposure. Not a day goes by that I'm not talking to a bariatric surgeon or a general surgeon somewhere in the country. I also have a team of jury consultants, psychologists, risk managers, doctors, nurses who study this issue of what causes liability exposure, what causes the patient to go to a lawyer, what causes a lawyer to want to take a case, and importantly, what causes jurors to give these outrageous awards that they do. Here's what I can tell you. What we know is you can impact your liability exposure. Based on studies that have done over the years, probably 50% of your liability exposure can be reduced if, in fact, in a serious way, you embrace certain liability reduction strategies. This isn't a topic you can just talk about. It's not a topic in which you can wish that your liability exposure is reduced, wish that your practice is safer. It's a topic that you actually have to do something. There has to be action steps. There has to be change. And that's really what surgical excellence helps with. They take all this data that we have. I've been watching this for 28 years. Other content experts that there are within surgical excellence have been watching it for longer. So we've taken all the data, claims data, closed claims data, literature, and also what we've seen in probably 150 practices around the country. We've studied that, and we've come up with assessment tools, documentation tools, service tools, and we can show you how to embrace those and use those. You see, think about it this way. There's two sets of clusters. There's a set of clinical clusters that what we see is most of the lawsuits or most of the adverse clinical outcomes are really based on just a couple of things. So if we can understand them better and build tools around them, you can actually improve clinical outcomes. And of course, that's what everyone's in this business for. And obviously, that reduces your liability exposure because lawsuits come 100% of the universe from adverse outcomes. That's the first circle. But there's a second circle. There's clusters of activities that literally increase the possibility of a claim from occurring. And you have to think about, after adverse outcomes, why do some patients go back to their surgeon? Others run to lawyers. We know why. And so what we've got to do is look at those clusters as well. What's powerful about surgical excellence is the merging, really for the first time in a serious way, of both. Looking at the clinical clusters, looking at the professional liability clusters, and then based on data, creating tools that do something about it. It's not fluff. It's not pie in the sky. Many of these tools are being used by bariatric and general surgeons all over the country, and the good news is that it's working.